the most challenging part of the physical act of conducting is that you have to be in two places at the same time. You have to be in real time, very much real time, and hear what happens right there when it happens, and then react to it. But also you have to be slightly ahead of what's going on. So you have to be, in some cases, a fraction of a second ahead. In some cases you have to be a few seconds ahead. In some cases, such as, say, an opera by Wagner, you have to be 15 minutes ahead of what's happening in order to be able to pace the music in the right way. And that perhaps is the most important function of a conductor, pacing, i.e. distributing music on the axis of time. That's what we do for living. The mechanics of conducting are really simple. Essentially, you indicate the time with mostly your right hand, and every kind of meter has its own pattern. And the most important thing is that the downbeat, i.e. the first beat, number 1, always comes down. So if you beat in 2, you go like this. 1, 2. Okay. If you beat in 3, you go like this. 1, 2, 3. If you beat in 4, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then every other number is a combination of these. So if you beat in, say, 9, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Up you go, and then downbeat. That's very simple. And what the stick does is just to kind of amplify the movement of the hand. So it really has no magic to it. It's just a way to focus the movement. You get a bigger range with a smaller movement of the hand. And many orchestral players prefer it, they say. Now, the really interesting part of conducting is how you actually manage to coordinate 100 people, play something together. And I had a very interesting experience when I was still studying. And one of my teachers, Arvid Janssons, an old professor from Leningrad, was watching me to try to start Beethoven's Egmont Overture together. And it never worked. And the orchestra sounded like a house of cards. And finally he said, "Has anybody got an apple?" Somebody gave him an orange. And he puts himself in front of the orchestra and does this. And the moment the orange hits his hand, the orchestra plays bang on together. Now, why is this? And what does this have to do with conducting? Now, my theory is that the one constant, physical constant in the world that is absolutely universal, understandable for all people, all human beings, and animals, for that matter, is the acceleration of free fall. 9.8 meters per second to the second power. And if we simulate the movement of free fall with the hand, then everybody instinctively knows the moment when the hand is going to hit the point where it started. So watch again. Bam! Okay? So that's conducting. The classic theory of conducting is that right hand is the controlling hand. We're talking about right-handed people here. And the left hand is the expression hand. With the left hand you can describe the kind of sound you want, or the kind of articulation, whether you want to have longer notes or shorter notes, or whether you want to have a quick accent or a slower accent or whatever. But even so, it is entirely possible to conduct an entire concert with your left hand only, if you so wish. But of course, the point here is that everything a conductor does should ideally convey a musical message. None of it should be decoration. Every gesture should have its equivalent sound. And the musical imagination of the conductor should be the guiding force behind the physical movement of the hands and the body. Now, orchestras are very different in terms of how they relate to the beat. Some orchestras have a tendency to absolutely play on the beat, i.e. start at the very moment when the object, i.e. the hand, hits the ground zero point, i.e. the point where the movement started, or the level which is understood to be the sort of baseline. Some orchestras have a habit of playing behind the beat. So by the time the hand is reaching the baseline, they kind of inhale. That's an extreme example. And then everything in between. Now, conductors prefer slightly different approaches. I, myself, like an orchestra to play exactly on the beat. It's easier for me and it's ultimately easier for them. And most orchestras can do that if they so decide. But it's a cultural thing. There's a house style. Every conductor is somewhat different. Every orchestra relates somewhat differently to different people and so on and so forth. But this is one physical constant, i.e. the acceleration of free fall, that unites all these gestures. And this is something that actually enables conducting as a process to be a useful tool in musical performance.
If you've enjoyed learning about the instruments in the orchestra, why not try our iPad app, The Orchestra, featuring Esa-Pekka Salonen and the Philharmonia Orchestra. Fully interactive video playback lets you view the orchestra from all angles, and the revolutionary beat map shows you who is playing when. Follow along with synchronized scores. Hear the inside scoop in audio commentaries, and get a 360-degree view of all the instruments. Available for download in the App Store on iTunes.